Hi guys, Mike at netbooklive.com, and we're here today with the promised review for the Asus UX31. Of course, my review is a bit late. Others have reviewed the UX31 a couple of weeks before, but I have the chance to actually test the product that is available right now in the stores. So this is a bought product. It's not an early sample like some of the others have tested. So some of the problems that were mentioned before, they are actually solved on this version that we have here, because they were software problems and Asus actually came with fixes for those. Okay. First of all, this is a 13.3-inch ultrabook from Asus. Like I said, the Zenbook UX31. I've already tested the UX21, and you can see the review on the site on netbooklive.com, and of course on our YouTube channel on Gadget JM. And this is the bigger version. Comes with a very powerful harder platform and a better battery. It's an increased battery that offers extra battery life on every charge. Okay, the device weighs just under 3 pounds, is very slim as you can see, so it's definitely one of the slickest laptops available right now, and it's definitely one of the slimmest. Of course, when holding it in your hand, it does feel a little bit heavier than the specs actually say, but I find it overall quite okay. Holding it like this, you don't have the most perfect grip, but I doubt most of you will carry it like this. Plus, Asus actually offers this, which is the case for this device, made from leather, some synthetic material here with a padded interior, soft padded interior, and a metallic latch, and you're going to carry your laptop mostly in this case, especially since this case it's offered by default, so you don't have to pay extra for it. Okay. The exterior is made from metal. Overall, the device looks very good. It's very solid build, and the finishes are definitely way improved than what we saw on other Asus laptops before. Let's have a quick look at the top panel. You can see there is a metallic darker silver panel in here with this circular texture. Definitely looks very nice, and the Asus logo on top. And the bottom, it's also made from metal. It's a single metal sheet, aluminum sheet, but it doesn't come with a circular texture. It's a linear texture, and it's a little bit a brighter color than the one used for the hood. On the back, you don't have access to memory, you don't have access to the battery, but you do have a couple of cooling vents here on the back, and you have the rubber feet. I like the 11.6-inch version that lacked all these cooling vents here, and also had the speakers here on the sides. This one no longer has the speakers on the bottom, it has them on top, and I'm going to talk about them later. Now, opening the device, you're going to notice first of all that it is very slick. Let's have a look at the profile. The screen, it's like a couple of millimeters thick, but it's still sturdy. You can see I'm now trying to push it with only one finger, and it's not wobbly. It's actually hardly moving, because the hinge, you can see the hinge right here, it's very solid, and this is good. You can easily grab it like this, and you can even grab it by the corners, because it's going to hold in place. So this is definitely a device that you can easily carry around and grab it with you when traveling without fearing that something might happen to it. Of course, you can't drop it or anything like this, because it's still a laptop, and you need to have proper care of it, but still is very solid build. Okay, what we have here, you can see that all this area around here is made from a single sheet of metal, very sturdy. It feels solid and it looks solid, and it's also comfortable. There's plenty of space for your hands here, and there's a big trackpad in the middle, you can see. Beneath the keyboard there is a contrasting darker silver finish, helps emphasize the keys better. And of course, around the screen there is also metal, so this is made from metal. It's, I don't know, some kind of violet gray, something like this. And the screen is glossy, as you can see. On top of the screen you have the camera, stereo microphones, and the Asus logo right here beneath the screen. Going to talk about the display a bit later. Right now let's focus on the keyboard. The keyboard is actually fine, full-size keys, proper spaced. There's enough travel, there's not that much noise, except for space. Space is quite noisy. However, what I don't like is you really have to push the keys a little bit firmer, so they will register your commands. Sometimes when typing, and if you won't push the key just in the middle, the letter won't be registered, and this is something you're going to notice quite easily. The layout is pretty standard. You get a proper shift in this part. Control and FN keys are properly sized as well. Of course, the arrow keys are a little bit smaller, but they're not as small as on other ultrabooks. Get a proper enter. The only thing I don't really like is the fact that they included the power button here. It's part of the keyboard, and I'm used to having delete here. Sometimes when trying to press Control Delete or Shift Delete or Delete, I will accidentally press this, and it will start the computer like this. Okay. And if you're in Windows, I'm going to show you what happens if I'm pressing the keyboard. Right now, let's focus and see how fast this is going to load. It's an SSD inside. Loads in like below 20 seconds. This is very, very fast. So here it is, just booted. This is a fresh boot, not presumed for hibernate or for sleep or for something like this. Okay, the trackpad. The trackpad is pretty big. You can see here it's clickable, and it's in fact similar to the trackpad you get on the MacBook Air. Earlier versions had some problems with the trackpad. Sometimes it behaved a little bit weirdly, and sometimes it registered clicks when you weren't actually clicking, or it confused right click for left click. Of course, in order to right click, you have to press here, and to left click, you can just tap it wherever you go. You don't have to press that hard in order to register a right click, which is quite nice. And you can set it to get a right click while double tapping. Gestures actually work quite okay as well, and I'm going to show them a little bit earlier in action. Okay, so overall decent keyboard. It will take a little bit of time to get used to it, because it requires a firmer stroke when typing. And trackpad is actually quite decent. I haven't had any issues with it like other reviewers had with the devices they tested a couple of weeks ago. And that means most of the software problems Asus had with the trackpad have been solved right now, and this is something quite good. Okay, so you saw how fast this one managed to boot. I'm going to show you how fast it will get to sleep and resume from sleep. It goes to sleep like this in just a couple of seconds, and it resumes like this. They say 2 seconds, and I think it's actually they're actually right. 2 seconds to resume for sleep, and if you keep it in sleep, you're going to have like up to 2 weeks of standby time. I would say maybe up to 1 week, but that's still quite good. So you don't have to close the computer if you don't want to lose all your if you don't want to use all the battery juice. Just have to close the lid like this with the sleep setting on, and then you're just fine. If you're going to open it tomorrow, you'll notice that only a small fraction of the battery is lost. What happens here is, of course, NAND to flash to NAND saves all the information in flash, and they can instantly be restored when you want to access the computer. And what happens if the battery runs out and you haven't closed the computer? Well, the system automatically saves all your work, and it will shut down by itself in order to preserve battery integrity. But what's important, all your work will be saved, and this is quite okay. Now, in terms of hardware, what we have here is the most powerful UX31. It comes with a Core i7 processor. Of course, it's a new LV processor, so it's not really that punchy, but it's still very powerful. 4 GB of RAM, and you also have a 256GB SSD. Now the platform, I know that it supports up to 8GB of RAM, but I'm not sure if you can actually upgrade those on the UX31. I'm going to have to check this, and you will find in the written review on the site, because from what I know, I'm not really sure how the configuration inside is, if you get a free memory module, or if you can access all the memory modules and replace the module that it is already installed. But I'll get back to that in the written review, like I said. Okay, in terms of performances, I'm not going to show you that many things, but I'm going to start with a couple of clips. And for that, I have here a couple of my trailers and Media Player Classic, and we're going to start, of course, straight with a 1080p clip, and I'm going to start with a 1080p MOV.
Marriage. There was a whore in Las Vegas a couple of years ago. Time's up, sit down, bud. Alan, what did you do? Did you roofie me?
And you can see that the speakers, they're very loud. Perhaps I should zoom in a little bit on the screen for this part of the review, so you can actually see better what's happening here. Okay, here we go. And get brightness down as well. Okay, so now this is playing, it's working, and there's DXVA activated. And while playing such types of content, you're going to get like 5 hours of life, which is actually very good for a device like this. And like I said, the speakers, they're very powerful. They're placed beneath the keyboard, and they're actually quite good. Of course, quality is not that impressive, but it's definitely better than on all of the other ultrabooks I've tested so far. The speakers are made together with Bang & Olufsen, so probably that's why they're actually quite good. And Asus actually have a history of offering good speakers on their laptops. So if you need proper audition, or at least better audition than you get on other portable laptops, you should consider this, the UX31. Okay, I'm going to adjust the screen here. Okay, that's a bit violent. Let's go ahead and try the 1080p MKV, and unfortunately there is one problem with the 1080p MKV. Once again, DXVA doesn't seem to be working on these samples of mine, and you can see this, not using DXVA, and that makes the clip playable, but it's barely playable, so it's not working perfectly like it should. Colors are actually very good on the screen. They might seem a bit off on the camera, but that's mainly because of the white balance on this camera I'm using to shoot the content. Okay, so you will be able to play all kinds of 1080p content, including Blu-ray. I have a couple of Blu-ray rips, and they're actually playable quite well, as long as you get DXVA or working. There are a couple of articles available online that will help you with this, but the ULV platform from Intel actually has problems with enabling DXVA with on 1080p MKV file, so that might be an issue. You will manage to solve it eventually, but it will take a bit of time. Okay, let's go ahead now and open a browser, but before that, let me show you the Windows index rating. For the benchmarks, you're going to have to go on the side. There will be the review that's going to offer you all the benchmarks. But this is Windows Experience. You can see that lowest score is for graphics, so the processor gets a 6.9, memory gets a 5.9, and of course there is 7.9 for the SSD storage. Hopefully you can actually see something in there with my camera. Now this should happen. Okay, and of course I haven't actually managed to tell you a couple of things about the screen. This screen is 13.3 inch in diagonal, but comes with 1600 by 900 pixel resolution, so that definitely offers an improved working area. and there's plenty of space in here. For you can see that the icons are a little bit smaller than a regular 13.3 inches, but there's definitely a bigger workspace, and this is something I really like on this computer. I'd really like to have this on my ultra portable, the same resolution like this one, and I believe it's the only the only ultrabook 13.3 inch ultrabook to offer this resolution right now. Okay, so we've opened the browser, and let's go ahead on our blog, which is of course netbooklive.com, and let's try some multi-touch gestures. For instance, we have two finger scrolling, which is okay, which should be working. I think there are still some issues with the trackpad. You can see that there was a minor glitch that haven't happened before actually when I tested it, but they seem to happen exactly when you're shooting the video. So we have the flawless here scrolling, two finger scrolling. It's actually working fine, and let's go ahead and open one of these. You also have pinch to zoom, and it's working. It takes a little bit of time to re-render the page, but it's actually working flawlessly. And we should also have back and forward here, but it doesn't seem to detect my two fingers here. So some of the gestures are still a little bit troubling. So I think I guess overall the trackpad does seem to have some issues, but they're not as problematic as other reviewers have actually pointed out. I think overall I'm quite satisfied, and I've definitely seen worse trackpads than the one available on this computer. Okay, let's go ahead and also go on YouTube, and I'm going to show you a 1080p trailer. I can't actually try Netflix or Hulu, but I assure you that they're going to work. If a computer can run 1080p YouTube content, it will be able to run Netflix, HD Netflix and HD Hulu without a problem. Okay, so I'm looking for this one, the Big Bunny animation, and we're going to jump straight to 1080p. And we have it right here. This is a 1080p clip. Let's go to full screen, and I'm also going to show you right now the viewing angles, which they're decent. Okay, once you get a computer like this, they're not going to be that good, but they're overall decent. You can adjust the screen to properly to get a proper viewing angle here. Side viewing angles, they're better as well. They're good as well. I'd say the only problem is with vertical viewing angles, like you can see here. Of course, this is a 1080p. You can see that it's working flawlessly. No issues here. But it seems that I don't have any of the commands anymore. This is weird. I'm pressing escape. Nothing is actually happening. Okay, now it did. Okay, so there still seems to be a couple of bugs. I really can't say why this happened. Yeah, that's something that never happened before actually. So this computer is getting a bit crazy right now with the review. I've also told you that I will show you what happens if you accidentally press the power on button on the top right corner. If you press it, you're going to get this option, and it asks you what you want to do with the system: shut it down, or sleep, or hibernate. Actually, we don't want anything to happen to it. Okay, and we also have this icon, which is quite nice, and it tells you how much battery life you get remaining for given tasks. It says 2 hours of video playback, 2 hours and 40 minutes of internet use, and right now the battery is at 44%. But they're actually going to get better scores than the one indicated by this widget. So don't really trust it. It's not that accurate. Actually, in terms of battery life, I would say you'll get on average about 5 to 6 hours of life, which is actually good for a computer like this. It's comparable to what you get on the 13.3-inch MacBook Air, and it's compared to what you get on most of the other ultrabooks. Some offer a little bit better, but some definitely offer worse battery life than this one. So, of course, this battery life can get a bit over 6 hours for very light use, and can get definitely way low for, I don't know, trying a couple of hardware, a couple of CPU intensive applications. And speaking of this is perfectly capable of multitasking. It can run Photoshop, it can run video editing software. For instance, I use Power Director on this one, and it works quite nice. You can edit Flash and compose Flash animation, so it's definitely very good for multimedia creator or programmer or something like this. Although the keyboard might not be that good for those of you that need to input a lot of text and a lot of code in there. Okay. I don't think there are many things I could add about this. Of course, the price, it's $13.99 or $14.99. I think it's $13.99 for this premium version, but the UX31 actually starts at $10.99 in the US with a slower Core i5 processor and only 128GB SSD. This, like I said, comes with a Core i7 and 256GB SSD. All the other things are pretty much identical for all the UX31 versions. The keyboard, the hardware, the screen, they're all the same for all the versions. Only the CPU and the amount of memory varies between the 3 available configurations. Also, I should tell you that this one doesn't actually get hot when used. The UX21 actually got very hot when pushed harder with some video editing software. This one actually is a little bit better. Of course, being bigger actually helps, because the UX21 actually had the same platform, the identical platform, in a smaller body. And you have the cooling mechanism here, just beneath the screen's hinges. And of course, on the back, you have this cooling vents, which I also think help a lot with temperatures. One more thing I should have shown you, and I haven't before. Screen cannot be bended that much on the back, which can be a problem when corroborated with the viewing angles, because you won't be able to lean the screen back, so you won't be able to actually use it comfortably, get a proper viewing angle when using it in bed or on a sofa or stuff like this. But besides this, there aren't many things I don't really like about this. Okay, more details will be available in the written review, and that one is going to be posted on the site, on netbooklive.com, and also some other impressions on ultrabookreview.com, which is a site where I only post about such computers, like this. You're also going to find a couple of comparisons with some of the other competing ultrabooks available on the market, the Aspire S3 and the Lenovo U300S, also on the sites and on our YouTube channel. Okay, that's it for now. Mike at netbooklive.com with the Asus UX31 video review. If you have any questions, please leave your comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press thumbs up if you like our work. Thanks.